So I'm going to show you how I do several different jobs on one cutting mat. Alright, so this is a holographic vinyl a customer wants. We're going to do two 8-inch names. So this one I want up front. Okay, so we'll line that up right on the 12-inch mark. Okay. This one's a little more stiff, that's why I want it up front, because it'll cut it first. And you have it towards the back, might fall up the mat. Okay. So next I got a 6-inch piece of white, just regular white vinyl. Now instead of going, this piece, the holographic piece stops at 5 inches. Instead of putting my next piece at 5 inches, I always just go down to the next inch. So we'll put this one at the 6-inch mark. The reason I do that is sometimes they're real close together. When it's moving around, the blade might actually grab that little one, little piece in between. In fact, I just did a job where that happened. I don't know if you can see it, but basically the machine started weeding for me, which is bad. But this is a thicker vinyl. It's printable calendar vinyl. It's a scrap piece I'll use for white jobs. It's a little bit thicker, and I think it's great for the magwell decals. But okay, so this is an 8-inch piece of silver. So this white piece stops at 12. I'm gonna go down to 13. I always use my roller, give it a little bit more tack. Okay, so that's 3 different. Well, this white piece is actually going to have 2 different customer jobs, but 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 different jobs right here for the eBay sales. All right, so this is my computer screen with my Silhouette Studio pulled up. So these pieces here are all going to be white. So I'll put them right there on the 6-inch mark where I had it on the mat. I hope you can see it, but all right. Now this piece here is the holographic. So we're going to move that up top. That's about a 3.5 inch total. Something I like to do, since I got this extra space over here, I might take something like this 1776. Just throw that in there, just have that extra. I think it's cool. Now, this Raiders piece is going to be silver. And that one starts at the 13-inch mark, so we'll put that there. Now, one thing I like to do, I like to give the customers, since this guy's buying this Raiders decal, let's fill that with color to show you. Poor choice of color, I use silver. Okay, so I'll just take this, since there's going to be extra silver on the cutting mat. I'll add a square around it, basically just a weed line. Then I Control G to group them together. I'll put that over here, right next to the Raiders. I might even throw them an extra one. So, customers only buying the Raiders decal, but they're gonna get those 2 Raiders stickers as well. Okay, everything looks good. I always use 24-inch cutting mats. I very rarely bother with a 12-inch. Let's load the vinyl. So here's the vinyl. You got silver here, about an 8-inch piece, 6-inch piece of white, and then there's your holographic. The job itself is about 3.5 inches, but I've got 5 inches sitting there. Okay. So if you're familiar with Silhouette, you know to line it up right there on the edge. All right, that's all loaded up, looks good and even. Okay, now we come back here, go to send. Okay. All right, that That alert there is just because I stopped the job, how I mentioned how the machine was starting to weed for me. Okay, so up here I've got my own custom setting. I call it Oracle Custom. 3-inch blade depth, 11 cutting force, speed 5, 1 pass. The vinyl glossy setting, I found that, so these settings are from the Cameo 3. I noticed, now I have a Cameo 4, I noticed that sometimes it cuts a little too deep, so I'm going to play with those settings a little bit. That's one thing, is that the pre-made settings are not set in stone. For the most part they work okay, but if you're having problems, you definitely want to play around with it. I actually like the Cameo 3 better than the Cameo 4, but I almost threw it away when I upgraded to this one, but I decided to put it away. Possibly, maybe I'll have one at home. But alright, we'll let that run. See how it turns out. While I'm waiting for that job to get done, this is the one where I said the machine kind of weeded for me. So this is a high-tack cutting mat. You notice that a lot of the paper stuck to it when I just trying to take the backing paper off. I bought this one by mistake. But instead of pulling your job like this, sometimes you'll ruin your vinyl. I lay it down like this, and I hold the vinyl down, and I peel back the cutting mat. And that seems to work a lot better, especially when you got a brand new cutting mat. This one's got a mixture of the 1776s. Like I said, this vinyl's a little thicker, so these small detail jobs, they're definitely a little trickier. I think they're way nicer for the purpose they're being used for. See, a lot of these, I know you can't see them, but there's maybe maybe one piece in here out of this whole thing that got saved. This one you got to be careful. You can't just pull it right up. There's 13 stars. I try to get it just enough where I can hold the star down with the knife. Go to the next one, push it down a little bit. See, that one wanted to come up just a tiny bit. Just down my finger. Okay. I hope you can see that, but 1776 with the stars around it. Out of this whole piece, there's about 8 of them on here, but only one of them was saved because of the machine malfunctioning. Alright, so here's the job all finished. This one I'm going to go ahead and just peel back. This cutting mat's fairly new, so I don't have to lay the mat down, face down, to take these off. But I want to show you anyway. Sometimes I'll just lay it down like that. I'll hold the vinyl down. So if you try to pull the vinyl up when the mats are new, it's a little harder. Sometimes you'll tear it. Okay. Alright, so let's get to weeding. Okay, so what I usually do is I grab the small pieces. Like I said, this decal, the customer only bought the Raiders logo. But I'm gonna have a little bit of scrap on the side here, so I went ahead and just made them some Raiders decals, just say Raiders only. What I do is I go in, I grab all the little stuff first. Just all these tiny little parts. And that machine, when it cuts them, sometimes it'll push them off to the side. So they'll actually be sitting off the side instead of in the place where it was cut. I'll give them a little stab, pick them up. See, they just hop right up. They'll stick to the piece you've already grabbed. You never want to grab a small piece after getting a bigger one, because that bigger one will stick to the surrounding area. Okay, so once again, talking about weed lines, I put one from the jawbone down to the frame of the shield. So watch how this just comes right up. You'll see how this piece is taken off towards the face. I'm gonna just slice that. And then right here you got a couple of pieces that kind of go down into the helmet. What I do is I'll grab that and I'll stick it to the piece that's coming up. Just kind of give it a little bounce. Got another weed line here in the helmet. See how that came right up? So then I'll grab that one, bring it around, kind of bounce it. Now there's an eyebrow here that likes to come up sometimes, so I'll just kind of hold it down with the tip of my knife. See that eyebrow there? Alright, and all these fingers have a lot of little separate pieces, so just kind of wiggle it. And the teeth, wiggle. And while you're bouncing it, you can kind of see if a piece is going to want to come up. If it does, just kind of let it back down and maybe hold it down with your knife or something. Okay. And we'll get this outer frame. Now with lettering, I always start from the back and go forward, because places like that E, it's just going to come up better. When you're going against it, it wants to stay in those little grooves on the E. It might do it with this one, I'll show you. See how that a little harder to get? That one was easy, but with some lettering, you're going to fight with it. Alright, that one's ready for taping.